Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is a new episode of The World Today where we are going to discuss many headlines published on national and international websites, and we are going to focus on our regional and local arenas. But of course we are going to move to America and to know the latest after the unexpected victory of Donald Trump. We are going to start immediately from the Gulf today, but let me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Ihab Ammar, our political analyst of this episode. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we are going to start, as I said, from the Gulf today, and it's about the latest visit by Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, to Egypt. Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi discussed region global issues. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, held talks with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Thursday regarding the latest regional and international issues of mutual concern, and ways to bolster strategic cooperation. Well, after the visit, the statements were very much indicative. I mean, when people would know that this is the third visit of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to Egypt, the third in just 6 months, that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was very much keen to speak about enhancing cooperation and to unite against the current challenges facing the Middle East in general and the Arab nation in specific. Last but not least, of course, the economic file. How do you see this visit, sir, and especially in this very specific timing?
I believe that the relationship between Egypt and Arab United Emirates is getting stronger and stronger. It was already started long time ago.
Yeah.
But now, I think we believe both, and not only Egypt and Arab United of Emirates, but even Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain. Mm-hmm. We started to believe that our destiny is one. Mm-hmm. And the challenges we are facing is just the same challenges. The enemies of this nation is targeting us all. Mm-hmm. So we have no other choice than standing to each other.
Yep.
And our existence is depending on this unity. Yep. Otherwise, we will have no options to exist.
Yep. Taking you to Al-Ahram online, where we read Egypt to receive $2.75 billion from IMF on Friday if board approves loan. Egypt is expected to receive an initial $2.75 billion from the International Monetary Fund on Friday once its board approves Egypt's request for a $12 billion loan. These were the statements said by IMF spokesperson Jerry Rice on Thursday during a press briefing. Before going into the details, sir, with or against?
Well.
Great. Just yesterday, there were some statements, or to be accurate, directives by Minister of Industry, Engineer Tariq Abil, that more than 60 factories out of 135 factories which were facing difficulties in working, they are going to start working and to be reactivated and stuff like that. People would say that who are going to pay the dear price of the loan are the simple citizens, not the rich class. Others would say, no, this is the only way in front of the Egyptian government to gain trust from investments, from foreign investments to come, and this is how it's gonna work. This point of view, or that one, sir?
I take the second point of view.
Okay.
First, it's not about gaining trust. To have this loan in its own, it's just a trust. If we are not trusted, if we are not stable, if the world doesn't believe that we can protect this loan and we cannot pay it back, they wouldn't have been given to us.
Yep.
That's first. Second, who's going to pay it is us. If I'm in need of money and I take a loan from you, you will give it to me because you trust I'm going to pay, and I take it from you because I trust that I can work and give it back. Produce.
Yep.
We have, in the coming years, starting from now, we started already, but I mean, to have our good future, we have to act very strongly and very fast about agriculture and industry. Otherwise, it's not how to pay the loan, but how we are going to live.
Yep.
We got to work. We got to have our agriculture strong again, and industry. And about industry, we need real industry.
Yep.
Not chocolates, not biscuits, not all this stuff. We need real industry. And we have chances.
If you permit me, sir,
yes.
We need micro, macro, small, medium, and mega.
And mega.
Because any economy would never be able to depend only on mega projects. We should work all together. But if you permit me to speak a little more about that. Whenever I am not a political or an economic expert, I'm going to have this correlation between what happened in this famous Thursday, the 4th of November,
yes,
with the liberalization of the pound, with removing some subsidies, in specific on fuel prices, and in the very same week we are going to receive this. Some would say that those were the conditions of the IMF, and if those conditions were not met, then we were not going to receive this first tranche or the loan. Then, once again, we are paying the dear price. And others would say this is a little bit similar to what happened in 1977 with late President Anwar Sadat. Some would say that no, in this moment it's harsher.
I believe that what happened last Thursday was brave. And I respect the government on this decisions, taking it in its real hardship.
Yep.
It is hard, but sometimes to make great decisions, it is always hard decisions. So we need to pay our loans, and we need to pay our debits, and we need to pay our daily life, and to build our future for our kids, for our coming generations, from our hands.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we cannot go on. I mean, the population, I would point that I believe this population, this great population, the Egyptians, have learned a lot from the experience they have been through.
Past 5 years in specific.
Exactly. They knew how it is when economic is down, when violence is in the streets, it is a mess. Now we learned.
Yep.
So I think we need to be more planned in the coming steps on how we can produce Egyptian handmade products.
Yep. Sir, just before being on air, I've asked you about your PhD.
Yes.
And you've told me that you are a specialist when it comes to terrorism
and national security.
So this is, I think, would be the top story of our episode. From daily news, we read almost all of Egypt's political parties and movements, except the terrorist Brotherhood organization, have announced that they are not participating in the anonymous, and would you please underline the word, calls, as Egypt moves forward on the path to securing $12 billion loan package from the International Monetary Fund. The country has found itself facing mysterious calls on social media for protests on Friday against economic conditions. Sir, how are the streets when you were moving here, downtown, to Maspiro TV building?
Full of people.
Okay.
Going to their work, visiting their relatives, sitting in coffee shops, going to restaurants, having a walk around the streets, the same Egyptian life every day. And I was talking about learning a few minutes ago.
Yes.
today, the Egyptian people have shown the whole world how intelligent they are. And they show the whole world how much they love their country. And they told the whole world how much they trust and stand for their president.
Sir, if some of the media outlets would, of course, Western media outlets would say that the reason behind those demonstrations to vanish or to dwindle or to be completely out of the cadre, as we say in front of the camera, I mean, would say that there are fears of security repercussions, of the police way of dealing with people, of such, answers like that. How would you answer this?
What happened in 25th of January 2011? If they were really serious,
Yeah.
and if they have any support from the Egyptians, they would have shown in the street. But they are not presenting the Egyptian people. And this calls came from the Muslim Brotherhood,
The Terrorist Brotherhood organization.
The terrorist organization. And I think the Egyptian people have discovered the reality and the truth about this organization. And they have nothing to do with the poor people or whatever it is.
Amen to that.
But they are just taking it as a reason or as a cover.
Yep. But sir, when it comes in specific to Egyptians, we are very passionate. And when we are in love with the president or in love with the leadership, we would expect him to do miracles.
Yes.
And we would think that everything is going to be okay whenever he is occupying the position of the president. Some would feel frustrated. Some would feel not that patient, or they cannot be that patient to wait for the gains or the fruit for the results of what we are doing right now. How to deal with those people? Because those people, especially when they are from the youth, they can be brainwashed easily. And this is another story.
Here we have 2 points to talk about. First,
Okay.
if I want to say Egyptian people loved, and they still love, and they will love President Sisi, but they are frustrated from high level of prices and whatever it is. But can we remind ourselves about the Egyptian experience with Nasser when he lost the war, which is very far worse from about high prices and
Amen to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They stand to him, and they let him down. But this is the psychology of the Egyptian people.
Okay.
When they love, they never let you down. Even if they are frustrated, if they are not really satisfied, but they stand for you.
Second?
Youth, which is our biggest problem actually, and it's a very serious one. And we have to find a solution. I think, I talked about this in social media, in the media. We need to separate the sport in a ministry and to create the High Council of Youth in its own.
Okay.
We have to take the youth file very, very, very
Seriously.
seriously. The summit of Sharm el-Sheikh, the youth summit,
The International Conference for
yes,
Youth.
was very good, but it's not enough.
But it's a start, sir.
It's a start, but
Just a start.
yes, I agree, but we have to take fast steps because we are letting our youth to some people.
This is my second point, but before going to this second point, sir, what you were saying, what you have kindly said about this conference, the recommendations of the International Conference for Youth turned to be presidential directives by the end of the 3 days. So it's a good start.
It is a
Let
good,
me
it
say
is a
so.
great start,
But, okay.
but we have to build on it,
great.
and very fast.
And very fast. But regarding the phenomena of terrorism, because it's a phenomena and it's not directed to the Middle East or to Egypt, it's a global phenomena. It's not only people who are just carrying guns and trying to kill someone,
No.
or with explosive laden belts or booby-trapped cars or stuff like that. there are intelligence agencies, there are a lot and huge sums of money, and there are maps to be changed according to the strategies or plans by the big powers using terrorism. How do you see this?
This is what we call the fourth generation's war.
Okay. Would you please elaborate a little bit, sir, on that?
As you're saying, it is not about guns.
Mm-hmm.
It is about minds.
Mm-hmm.
If you change my culture, my thoughts, my beliefs, if you take me to the dark spots of thinking, if you make me desperate, seeing everything black,
Mm-hmm.
only then you can have a terrorist person.
Mm-hmm.
It's how to create
Yeah.
a terrorist, not how to use him.
Mm-hmm.
It is about how to create him, how to give him a new ideology,
Mm-hmm.
to take him to the dark spot, as we said.
Yep.
So our youth is facing this kind of war,
Yep.
and we need to help them. We need to help them. We don't need just to say, well, they are wrong. Yes, they are wrong. But why they are wrong? We haven't been talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
We let their ears and their mind to the others, which is very dangerous and very risky.
Yeah.
We need to support and protect our youth. We need to take them
You
back.
mean if a student fails, it's not only his fault, it's the teacher's fault,
Exactly.
on equal foot.
Yes.
But here, for example, in the Khalij time, South Sudan authorities shut down popular radio station, only in developed countries. And it seems that it's going to continue this way if we do not put into consideration how media is very important. Why only in such places, in addition to Turkey, of course, but this is constitutional there in Turkey, we shut down, I mean here South Sudan, because it's of course included into the Arab area and it's our strategic depth, I should say, to shut down a popular radio. Is it a solution?
When you are weak, it is a
Mm-hmm.
solution. When you are not having a clear plan for the future, it is
Yeah.
a solution. When you are not controlling the policy you are going through, it is a policy. But what we hope that they rethink about what they are doing as soon as possible.
We are going to take from the Daily Star and the Washington Post together, because I don't know why these days I cannot separate between Iraq and Syria. It's one battle and they are all against Daesh. From the Daily Star we read, elite Iraqi troops battle Daesh on El Mosul streets. And from the Washington Post, Obama directs Pentagon to target Al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria, one of the most formidable forces fighting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Well, the decision to deploy more drones and intelligence assets, and this is very important too, against the militant group formerly known as Jabhat al-Nusra, reflects Obama's concern that it's turning parts of Syria into new base of operations for Al-Qaeda on Europe's southern doorstep. Here, U.S. officials said those statements. How do you see this mix now between what's going on in Syria and Iraq? I mean, there were similarities since the beginning, but now it's moving from Raqqa in Syria, for example, to Al-Mosul in Iraq, and it's all against Daesh. When they said about Daesh that there are from 20 to 30,000 militants, how I can imagine that a U.S. coalition from the biggest powers worldwide are not able to get rid of those 20 to 30,000 people in years, as the situation on the ground is saying. How?
As you said, the battle in Syria and the battle in Iraq is one battle.
Mm-hmm.
And now Obama is giving his orders to fight Daesh and Qaeda and whatever. Now they are in a big, big problem. Mm-hmm. They are fighting their own products.
Yep.
And I hear that clearly from President Trump. when he accused Obama and Hillary about creating this and supporting terrorist organizations, which is very true, by
Sure.
the way.
Her hard choices.
Yes,
Yeah.
their hard choices, which cost us
A lot.
hundreds of thousands of innocent life and stability in the Middle East in total. And I think it cost even the stability of Europe. And I believe that Daesh is another new product of Qaeda. And how to deal with them? I think the world should learn from Egypt how we deal with them. They can come and watch our soldiers crushing them in Sinai.
Yeah.
And if they are moving from here to there, this is not a real force. This is a coward operations. They are
Disguising in women costumes.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to take the last item of our World Today headlines, and it's from The Guardian, where we read more anti-Trump action planned after second night of protests across the United States. Tens of thousands of Americans are planning further protests and acts of dissent against the election of Donald Trump after a second night of action in cities across the United States that followed the wave of demonstrations on Wednesday in which dozens were arrested. You know, I love the sense of humor of Egyptians on social media. When Egyptians would say that the Egyptians are asking the Americans to be democratic enough and to respect the election boxes. Sir, how do you see those demonstrations? And if this is a new era in the political life of the United States of America?
Yes, it is a new era.
Okay.
And yes, I'm asking them to accept democracy. And it was a free and clean and nice election, as usual.
Yeah.
That is how America says about its elections. So I hope the American people accept their will and to start to rebuild their countries after this damage that happened by Obama administration and Hillary's policy.
Yep.
I think they have a great chance to rebuild their nation. And I wish safety for Mr. President Trump.
And sir, Obama described the first talks between him and Trump yesterday in the White House as excellent, distinguished, despite the fact, and Trump himself said that he is keen and he is eager to have more talks and more meetings with Obama after all what happened in the presidential campaign. Is this the game of politics?
Yes, that's normal.
Normal.
Yeah.
The game of politics which I'll never be able to understand. I kept on saying so for the past 10 years, by the way.
And you're right.
Sir, Dr. Ihab Ammar, thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your input and have a very good day.
Thank you.
Well, by this we come to the end of this episode of The World Today. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermina Abdurrahman.